I am recording. I am recording now. I have a new microphone too, and I don't know how to work it. This is a really sketch setup. Real jank. The quality that you come to this corner for. Welcome to the Critical Corner. Grab your snacks and blankets, kids, because today we're talking about a spaceship, and not just any spaceship. It would be the Halcyon, or the Galactic Star Cruiser, or the infamous Star Wars hotel that everyone... Okay, well, no one's talking about it anymore. I know this is old news, but I'm still impassioned about it. So I thought, since you're here with me, trapped in this... details... whatever. Since we're here in this corner, I thought, let's talk about it. Let's talk about why it's infamous. Let's talk about why people were sad when it closed. Why some people just laughed and of course this was gonna happen. I mean, what did people think? We can just, break it all down here. It's a nice chill day in the corner. The sun is shining. You can't see it, but the sun is shining. It's beautiful. So let's talk about it. And I just want to add, I think, and right off the bat, before we get into any information, I just want to say, I think Disney they were cowards for closing it. I mean, it was only open for a little over a year, so that might be why maybe you've not heard of it. Definitely potential there for that, because they gave up really fast. So let's first get into what was the Galactic Star Cruiser. If you know what LARPing is, it's kind of like that. I've never done LARPing myself, so people that maybe have experience with it, you might look at me and say, no, you're crazy. It's nothing like LARPing. But basically, this wasn't just a Star Wars hotel. It was a 2-night experience of total immersion. The cast members talk to you. There's characters like Rey and... Rey was on the ship, and Chewie was on the ship, and then you kind of follow through a storyline. Like you participate in the story by using, hey, I have my phone right here, by using your phone. Like you had the app and everything on your phone, and all the characters would kind of interact with you throughout this, how whatever story you wanted to play out. You could be on the side of smugglers, the resistance, or you could work for the First Order. It was a whole little story that played out. Ordinary Adventures, the channel Ordinary Adventures actually has a really, really great breakdown of the whole experience. Like from start to finish, this is what the Galactic Star Cruiser was like, and like what the whole full 2-day experience was. There was interactivity all over the ship, so you could interact with the ship itself. You could open doors sometimes with it. They didn't use a magic band. They had some sort of special wristband that you got that I never got to do it. So since it was only open for a little over a year, so I can't show you one because I didn't get to do it because Disney closed it. Whatever. It was also basically like a cruise, but a cruise in space. So you had all the amenities of like the cast members remembered what your drink order was, and they have it ready for you at your table. I think that's the thing they do on cruises. I've also not done a cruise before, but I've heard that's the thing. So it was a space cruise, space where no one can hear you scream. Oh God! Characters remembered your name, like they I'm not super sure how they did that. I think it had something to do with the bands, like the actor or the cast members, the characters were able to remember like who you were, just like either from being in proximity to your band. And I'm really not sure how they did that, and I'm not sure they're going to tell us how they did that, but it was cool, and it made for a really special experience for the guests. I mean, from what I've seen, everyone that went on the Galactic Star or did the Galactic Star Cruiser, the Halcyon, had nothing but really good things to say about it, despite the hefty price tag of what it was. But people that paid for it also knew what they were getting in for. It wasn't just a Star Wars hotel. It was a 2-night experience where you're completely immersed in the Star Wars universe, the current Star Wars universe, by the way. like whatever they consider the canon timeline of Batuu, which Batuu, if you don't know, is what the planet that you're supposed to be on in Galaxy's Edge, in the little Star Wars area of Disney World, and also Disneyland. Disneyland did not have the Star Cruiser. I should have specified this. I'm terrible at this. I should have specified that. This was only at Disney World. The hotel itself was like, I don't even think it was located at the, like you, the part of the experience was you'd have like a day off the ship, like you, and you're going to Batuu, like that's your, you know, like on a cruise it's like, oh, we're going to Puerto Rico. No, on the Halcyon you're going to Batuu, and you're gonna have a Batuu day, and you're gonna have a Batuu grand old bright sun's time, and you know, you could do all the things that you can do in Galaxy's Edge for that day. And essentially they would put you on this like transporter to Batuu, and but what it really was, as far as I know, was just like a truck that drove you probably backstage from like the hotel to, or the ship. I'm sorry, I don't know if we're staying in canon for this or not. I don't know how we're doing this. We'll figure it out in post, as we do many things. So it was essentially a truck that you were on, but you were meant to think that you're on like a cool space transporter, and there were windows, and you'd be like, oh, there's space, and there'd be like a robot or something telling you about like all the beautiful things you'll be able to do on Batuu. So it was like that. Why was I talking about the transporter? Sometimes I don't have a point, and I just ramble because I'm really passionate about the Star Cruiser, and I'm kind of mad that I didn't get to do it. But you know, it is what it is. And the ship also featured the infamous Blueshrimp that absolutely everyone loved. No one had any issues with it. Everyone was super stoked when they saw the Blueshrimp. They wanted more Blueshrimp. They said, Disney, give us more Blueshrimp. Do it. Just do it. Give us more Blueshrimp. They loved it. They also did lightsaber training on the ship. One of the big events that happens on the ship also featured that really cool lightsaber that we still don't have, you know, the one that like retracts and whatever, that's really cool, and they said we were gonna have, but we still don't. So that was cool. Everyone said that was really neat to see in person, and I'm sure it was. So good for them. I'm really happy for everyone. It's great. They also featured a space band that would perform at dinner. It was a really cool space band. I'm forgetting the singer that like everyone made a big deal that like that's part of the story, that it's like, oh, it's a big deal that she's going to be on the ship. She was awesome. I'm a huge fan, and I don't remember her name. It was space band, not Halix, unfortunately. RIP to that awesome band. They also had an incredible alien costume. Like, holy, it was so cool. Like, it was so cool, and just a really awesome costume that was just, I don't know, it, like, people cried seeing it. That's how impressive it was. Will we ever see it again? I have no idea. I can't tell you. You don't come here for answers. You come here to listen to me ramble for like an unhinged grandmother ramble about things I didn't get to do in my life as I'm on my deathbed. That's what you come here for. Quality stuff.
When I was your age, the Halcyon still sailed in the stars, and I could eat blue shrimp.
It wasn't even a real spaceship, Grandma. You're a vegetarian. You can't even eat the blue shrimp. Die already. We're so tired of hearing you talk. So let's get into why it failed. I think I've given a good overview of what it was. I'm not really sure. My point is that it was an experience that you were paying for. It wasn't necessarily that you're paying to stay in a Star Wars themed hotel. It was a full-on 2-day experience. These cast members were putting on a show for 2 whole days, and they're in character the whole time. it was insane. You meet the captain, you do like you can do ship training. It all depends on how your story is playing out. It was a really incredibly immersive experience. So you know, where you really feel like you're part of the story and you interact with these characters. I'm trying to lay that down. That's what that was, because I think there was a lot of confusion over what it was.
I'm trying to type with my little gremlin fingers.
Okay, so we'll get into why it failed. Part of it was the cost. It was a hefty price tag for just to do the whole experience. According to Google, and I do recall that, like, I remember when it was still a thing. But it was $4,800 for 2 people, and just under $6,000 for 4 people sharing a cabin. So, like, generally a family of 4, like, if we're basing it on that, it's $6,000, which is astronomical. It's very expensive, obviously. I think that included like food, and it included your 2-night stay in a very small cabin. I will add that is another part of its downfall. The cabins were like, you're on a space cruise ship, so the cabins were pretty small. So from seeing the size of the cabins, I don't think, yes, a family of 4 could stay in one of those, but not comfortably. Like, not, you'd be staying there, but you'd not be happy or comfortable about it. Another thing that was part of the downfall is that while during its entire year, a little over a year run, the events never, like the major events that happen on the ship, the whole main storyline, if you will, was always the same. And they never which I don't understand why. They never indicated that they intended to change that or to update to a new story as things went on. So they just didn't do that. So you didn't have returning guests very much. You know, like people loved their experience from what I've heard. Like, people had an amazing time. It was like, one of the greatest memories they've ever had. And I'm sure it was a wonderful experience, but once you've done it once, with the addition of the price tag, like, most people were not willing to then fork over another $6,000 to do it again, to watch the same events happen, even though you do have your individual storyline, which could change depending on the decisions that you make. Is that worth $6,000? In my opinion, probably no, but it's your money. You should do what you want with it. The Star Cruiser also cost around $400. It's estimated to have cost around $400 million to build. So again, like, that's why it's kind of also really baffling though that it closed, because they had some of the best technology in this. Okay, we're gonna go with the canon. It was a ship that really sailed through space in a galaxy far, far away. It cost them so much money to build and so much money to maintain, and they just like dropped it. They recently put out a permit to do construction on that property where the Star Cruiser is, so they're gonna do something with it. Maybe actually turning it into a regular Star Wars hotel, which brings me to another point of why it failed. There was a lot of confusion in the public of what this experience actually was. A lot of the complaints that I saw were people being like, $6,000 for a Star Wars hotel, that's insane, and it's only 2 nights. And they were only, because the PR was so bad, we're only considering it like a Star Wars themed hotel, which it definitely wasn't. You did not go to the Galactic Star Cruiser for just a fun 2-night stay at a Star Wars hotel. That's not what it was at all. It was an experience where you're busy. It's like you're doing something all the time. They were, pinging you on your phone. Like, there's plots to follow, there's stuff to do. It was a tiring 2 days from the accounts of people that got to do it. So I think, that just didn't help the public perception of what it was, given that it's like, oh, it's just a Star Wars hotel. Because back to what I said earlier, the PR was terrible. It's mind-blowing that they spent $400 million to build it and then just did a garbage job promoting what it was, because it was such a unique thing. No other theme parks really have, as far as I know. I don't think there is or was anything like it before. So you would think that they'd want to stress that, like, this is an experience of a lifetime. You'll never get to do something like this ever again. And it just, they just didn't stress how different it was. Like, I think no matter their PR efforts, they failed because the public perception was, oh, it's a Star Wars hotel, and it wasn't. It just wasn't. So PR dropped the ball on that, and they don't do that again. The Star Cruiser got delayed on their opening because of COVID. Dang it, you guys! I need to research these videos.
With my little goblin fingers.
So the Galactic Star Cruiser opened March 1st, 2022. So there were still restrictions with COVID, and I believe everyone had to be masking inside when you were in the Star Cruiser when it first opened. And because of the delay on opening, I think it was supposed to open maybe a few months before that or a year before that. So of course, the maintaining costs would have made the money that they put into it even more. So, farther issues with that. So I also just want to discuss, so we've laid out what it was. And we laid out I think there's just multiple things that led to its closure. But I just want to talk about the main reason why I made this video is because I'm disappointed that they closed it so early. Like, the people that did it, it was one of my bucket list items. The quickest thing to go on my bucket list and then go off my bucket list because it closed so fast. Everyone that did it raved about how wonderful and magical of an experience it was, and that it felt like old school Disney magic that we just don't have anymore in the parks. Everyone that did it loved it. And I do understand, though, there is an argument to be had that people will want to justify their purchases. So they're like, oh, this was the greatest thing that I ever did. And so I understand, they're basing or trying to justify the fact that they just spent $6,000 on an experience. So they want to justify it and say it was great, it was worth every penny. Totally understand that argument. But from the videos and things that I've seen of the Galactic Star Cruiser or Halcyon, whatever, it did seem like a really incredible experience. And I'm disappointed that I didn't get the opportunity to do it. Actually, it was one of the things I was considering doing for my birthday. I was like, wouldn't that be freaking awesome to spend, I really thought I was going to get to do it, guys. I really did. But Disney said no. They said no, we got to close it. We got to go. So I'm also disappointed that this failed, because it means that Disney's probably been totally scared away from doing anything like this ever again, which really sucks. Because think about how cool, like, an equivalent of that would be with maybe the Avengers over in Disneyland. Like, in the Avengers campus area, you have a hotel experience or like cruise or what, I don't know what they would call it. Where you're immersed in the Avengers. I haven't watched the more recent MCU. Apparently those movies are not doing well. To add to the Avengers campus, like, if you had a really immersive Avengers experience where you're like part of the Avengers for 2 days or something. I haven't thought this through. The Avengers I just think would be cool, because I love Avengers campus. So that's why I thought of that idea. Where you're kind of part of the experience. You could do that with so many other Disney properties. You could do a literal, like, Pirates of the Caribbean, like, cruise. Of course they do have the cruise line. So I don't know. We'll keep brainstorming on that. A haunted mansion stay. Like, they could easily do that. Like a, 4-night immersive haunted mansion. That would be really awesome. But we're never going to get it because Disney is fully scared away, I'm sure, from this industry. or this industry of like immersive experiences, these very niche, unique experiences. I don't think they're gonna be trying to do that anytime soon. So that's another reason I'm disappointed. They also had so much potential for what they could have done with it. I genuinely don't understand why they didn't offer like retro, like in the Halcyon lore, the Halcyon is a luxury liner that apparently even hosted Han and Leia on their honeymoon. Why can't we experience that honeymoon? Like maybe some crazy stuff went down. And while Han and Leia were on there, and you do those select cruises, like some cruises are doing the normal one and then advertise like we time warped and now we're doing Han and Leia. Why didn't they do that? Disney World in particular is so insistent on keeping the timeline and like everything the same in Batuu and Galaxy's Edge, and I don't understand why. Like, I don't care. I'm big on lore, okay, and I'm big on timelines. I'm a big Star Wars fan, but I don't care if the Mandalorian and Kylo Ren are out at the same time. I really don't care. I know they can't exist in the same timeline. I don't care. They're way more lax about it for some reason at Disneyland. Like Disneyland for Avengers Campus, they're like, oh, it's a weird blip in the timeline, therefore all these things are allowed to exist at the same time. I don't even need an explanation. I don't care. I just want to see Iron Man and Loki. Like, I don't care. I just want to see the characters. Please, just do that. And they, in Batuu over there as well, like they just don't really follow the timeline. Like the Mandalorian could be out while what I just said, Kylo Ren could be out and the Mandalorian. They don't exist in the same timeline, but it doesn't matter because nobody cares. It just doesn't matter. Disney, please stop keeping characters away because you're like, oh, doesn't exist on the timeline. No one cares. Really, they don't care. Especially over in Disney World, you got the boozy blue milk and green milk or whatever. Everyone's drinking. Everybody's been to Oga's Cantina. No one cares. Okay, just let it be. So I won't bore you with farther. I wanted a place to vent about it because I really feel like they just dropped the ball on this. They had the potential to have broken through into this kind of really new and niche industry. And they could have created some really incredible things with it. Come on, Fantasia did terrible when it first came into theaters, but Walt Disney kept at it. Like, I don't care that nobody came to see this movie. I'm going to keep doing this stuff. So, I mean, that's what the Walt Disney Company has always been about, is like innovating and creating new things. And this was that. This was epically new and unique and brought a lot of joy to a lot of people, to children, adults alike. I mean, that's another part of it too. It was a great, it wasn't really good for probably like younger kids because they wouldn't really understand what's going on, but like older kids, I've seen, people that recorded their experience that would get emotional because they would see a child having this, they helped Chewbacca escape the First Order, and it was like, that you just witnessed like a key memory for this kid. This kid is never going to forget about that, how they went on the Halcyon and they helped Chewbacca escape the First Order. Like, those are incredible things that Disney just doesn't really do anymore, and it's so upsetting that they squandered this. There's just so much potential. There's so many things they could have done, and they could have based it. I mean, they keep coming out with Star Wars stuff, so they could have had like a Mandalorian themed cruise or Ahsoka themed cruise. Like, I want to see Darth Vader on the Halcyon. Like, come on, there's so many things you could have done with it, and so many other new experiences that it could have come from this to Disneyland, Disney World, immersive hotel, cruise, whatever you want to call it, things. And they just dropped it after a little over a year of effort. Barely effort though, like I said, because they didn't even try to change up the experience or entice people back that were big enough fans and already loved the experience enough to pay $6,000. So they didn't even do that. So, in conclusion, to save you from listening to me rant about this any longer, I just think Disney really dropped the ball, and it was a wonderful and unique experience. I definitely want to hear from you if you got to do the Galactic Star Cruiser. Do you agree? Like, do you also agree that it was an incredible thing that everyone should have done, or were you disappointed? Did you feel like you wasted your $6,000? Because I have not really heard from people that said that, and I'd be interested to know your thoughts on it. I'd also, if you did the Star Cruiser, I'd love to hear about any experiences you had. Did you have any key memories that came? Did you eat the Blueshrimp? Was it good? Some people just want to know about the Blueshrimp. I'm just curious. And what are your thoughts on its closure? I want everyone's opinion on that. What do you think about its closure? Do you agree with me, or do you think I'm wackadoodle for even thinking they should have done this? I'm open to both sides. Also, I'm still taking suggestions for another movie review. Thank you everyone that has commented on the Country Bears video with movie suggestions. I have a list, I promise you. So I'm kind of keeping track of that. I'm kind of, when I do the movie review, like I want to be in the mood to watch that movie, and there's some bangers, some actual great movies that are on my list, but I just haven't felt like watching them, so I'm still like feeling it out. But I think that is the next video that I'm gonna do, and I really appreciate all the suggestions. Continue to drop them below. Just, send me suggestions. Love it. Thank you. You guys are great. Also, I want to get a little heartfelt with you now. I am to words. I started the channel thinking at most I'd get like 10 subscribers, and I was like, that would be awesome. I'd love to have a little army of 10 people that like my stuff, and I'd be like, you guys are awesome. You're my best friends now. We live in the corner together. Everyone's happy, But the response I've gotten from starting this, I genuinely don't have words. It's the numbers don't compute. I look at the screen and I go, what? I'm over 4,000 subscribers right now, and I said that out loud, and it's like my soul left my body for a second. That's insane, and I cannot thank you enough. I'm so happy that you're here. I'm so happy you want to be part of this weird little corner. You even listened to my voice for more than 3 seconds. I really appreciate it. So thank you. Truly, thank you very much. Thanks for joining me in the corner today, friends. Please leave a comment, like the video, become a subscriber, consider joining the corner. The corner's great. See over there, we got our little subscriber hanging out. Skippy's here. There's Blueshrimp. I can't, for legal reasons, I can't guarantee that a subscription will get you Blueshrimp, but Blueshrimp, pretty cool.